There's a line in almost every leadership job description that nobody actually budgets for. It says something like, develops and grows their team. We write it, we sign off on it, and then we treat the actual doing of it as something that happens if there's time left over. And there never is. So here's the question worth sitting with. If developing people is in the job, why is it the first thing that gets cut? I'm Thomas, founder of Blue Chip People Strategies. We work with leaders who want their organizations to be good places to work and to perform like it. This is the show about doing both. One more thing before we start. There's a name for how people actually build capability. A model that says the formal training, the courses, the workshops are the smallest part of it. Keep it in mind. We'll come back to it. Let's start with the reframe, because it's the whole episode. Most organizations file development under benefits. It sits in the same mental category as the wellness stipend and the snack budget. Nice to have. First to go when things get tight. But look at what you're actually paying a leader to do. You're paying them to make decisions, to carry a team, to absorb pressure, and to grow the people under them. That last part isn't a bonus objective. It's the salary. It's in the salary. It's priced in. So when development gets cut, here's what actually happens. You're still paying the salary, but you've quietly stopped expecting the part of the role the salary was for. You didn't save the money. You just stopped getting the return on it. That's the reframe. Development isn't a perk you add when budgets are good. It's a deliverable you're already paying for. And the good news in that is simple. If you're already paying for it, you might as well actually get it. Where the cost actually goes. Here's the thing that makes this hard to see. When you skip development, nothing breaks immediately. There's no invoice, there's no alarm. The cost is real, but it's patient. And it shows up somewhere other than where it started. It shows up in retention. People who stop growing start looking. Not all at once and not loudly, but your most capable people are the ones with the most options. And I'm not learning here is one of the greatest, most common reasons good people leave an organization. It shows up in performance. An underdeveloped leader doesn't fail visibly. They just operate at 70% of what they could, and the whole team operates at 70% with them, and everyone adjusts to that as if it were normal. And it shows up in the next hire and the one after that, because a team that isn't being developed isn't building anyone ready for the next role. Every opening goes external at full cost. None of those line items say development on them. The retention report doesn't. The performance review doesn't. The recruiting budget doesn't. The cost didn't disappear when you cut development. It just moved somewhere nobody connects back to the decision. That's actually the encouraging part. A hidden cost is still a fixable one, once you know where to look. Here's where most organizations get development wrong, and it's an honest one, not a careless one. When a company decides to invest in development, the default move is to buy a course, send the leader to a workshop, tick the box, and then everyone is quietly disappointed when not much changes. The reason it doesn't change much is in the model we'll name at the end of this episode, the short version. Courses are a small slice of how people actually grow. The biggest slice is the work itself, the real assignments slightly beyond what someone has done before. The next slice is other people, coaching, feedback, watching someone good up close. So good development isn't an event you send someone to. It's something you design into the job. 3 things the organizations that do this well have in common. 1, they give people real work that stretches them on purpose with a safety net. Growth happens at the edge of current ability, not in a conference room. 2, they put a coach or a strong mentor close to the person. Someone who reflects the work back, names what went well, and names what to try next. 3, they make development a standing expectation of every leader, written into how leaders themselves are measured. If a leader's own review never asks, "Who did you grow this year?" development will always lose to the urgent thing. I want to share a quick story about someone who I knew within an organization and how their lack of perceived growth opportunities led to them leaving. So they were in an organization that had an incredible amount of hierarchy. So very seniority driven. Once you have established a seniority list, It's really hard to move up the ranks unless you're next up. That can be deflating for a lot of people. And this person thought, there's no way I can stick in this role for the next 15 years. They were the best at what they did. But unfortunately, the system put them in a position where they really didn't have many choices. They would either have to leave their area of expertise or they would have to wait it out. That's tough for somebody who's chomping at the bit to do more. They ended up leaving that field and that organization and starting their own company. It's disappointing because they absolutely could have risen to the highest levels of that organization, but the system essentially snuffed out that desire, or at least was a major contributor in that before they even had the opportunity to do so. If you lead an organization, put development where you can see it. Give it a line, a name, and owner. The simplest version. Every leader's own review includes one question. Who did you develop this year and how? And start small if you need to, one stretch assignment or one coaching pairing. If you're a leader being measured on results, you can build development into the work without waiting for a budget. The next meaningful assignment on your desk, ask who on the team would grow from it and ask them if they want to grow. Give it to them with support instead of doing it yourself. That's development, and it costs nothing but intention and foresight. If you're earlier in your career, ask the question directly. How will I grow in this role? Ask that during the interview. A good organization should have an answer. If the answer is vague, that's also useful information. And it's also an invitation to help build the answer with them. And that name from the start, it's the 70-20-10 model. Roughly 70% of development happens on the job, 20% from other people, and only 10% from the formal courses. Which means the course you send someone to isn't the development, it's the 10%. The other 90% is the part most organizations never actually design. That's the opportunity. Development isn't the thing you do when there's time and budget left over. It's part of what the salary already bought. The organizations that see that don't spend more. They just stop wasting what they're already spending. If you lead an organization and you want development to be something real, designed into the work rather than hoped for, that's what we do at Blue Chip People Strategies. We help organizations build it in as a deliverable, not a perk. Please reach out. The link is in the description. And wherever you are in your own career, if this gave you one thing to ask for or design differently, subscribe and come back next week. Next episode, what one underdeveloped supervisor actually costs across turnover, productivity, and grievance volume. We'll put real numbers on it. I'm Thomas. This is Blue Chip People Strategies. Peace out.